Yo, what's up, Poke Crew? Today I'm back with another video. Today I just want to show you guys my shipping supplies and everything that I use to pack my orders for TCGplayer and eBay. Right now I'm a level 4 seller on TCG and I have around, I think it's like 120 sales, all 5 stars, and I've been getting a lot of good reviews back on how I'm shipping out my items and my cards. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today. I have all of my stuff right here. I know you guys can't see it. I'll put it in frame in a second. But just basically everything that I use to pack and ship my orders to make sure that the cards get to the customers safely, without damage, and quickly. So I have a couple of things here, and I want to start off with what I think. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored by anybody in this video, so all of this is just me being honest about who I'm using. And you guys can, use them if you want to. Don't use them. Really doesn't benefit me in any way. But the first things I used and the first things I bought were these right here, shipping shields. And I get a lot of good reviews back on these, so I'll show you how I pack these. It's not just throwing the card in here. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just throw the card straight in here because you need a little bit more protection than that. So basically what I do is have a deck box with the cards that I'm going to be selling. So I put them off to the side in this specific deck box. And I already have one here, so I'll show you for example. So this is how the card is going to look, right, when I'm putting it in here. I start off with perfect fit sleeve, right? So you get your perfect fit sleeve first, and you want to put the card in upside down. So I put the card in upside down first, and then I put it in the right way, but I use a bigger sleeve. I use these sleeves to put it in the second time. This one is 2 3/4 and 3 something. I don't know. I'm not good at math. Look. These are the ones I use. Hopefully you guys can see that. I put it in. Boom. And I get one of these here. Little pull tab. You can get them very cheap. Just get a pack of pull tabs. And then I place this inside of the shipping shields. When I place it inside the shipping shields, I fold this down. And then I fold the top. You don't want to tuck this. It says specifically, do not tuck. You want to fold that down. And then I don't use regular tape, like clear tape. I use masking tape. Because I realized that the regular tape, it's just a little bit too hard to open. And you don't want them like messing with it, trying to get it out and bending the card. This is very easy to come off. But it's also strong enough to keep the flap down. I use this on top. Now, couple of different ways. If I'm doing this method, but I'm doing this method with eBay, for example, I don't use regular envelopes. So I don't use these envelopes for eBay. I use these specifically for TCGplayer. If I'm doing eBay, I have envelopes. I don't have it with me right now, but I use like square envelopes. And then I would get the packing slip and just make it into a little square, put this in the middle, so the packing slip is essentially covering both sides, give it even more protection, and then I would put it in that envelope. That's what I do for eBay. Now for TCGplayer, I do the same thing, but this would be inside right here on the side of the packing slip. So the packing slip would be here, you would see their address, this would be taped down inside right there. So it's just going to be a little bit rigid on the end, not too rigid where USPS has something to say about it. Because I've had problems where if I used these, for example, when I used to use these, they're super hard and they're thicker, right? And I used to put these inside of the envelopes. I've had problems with that because when I send it out, I would get it returned back to me, or the person that would get it would say, hey, they charged me extra for shipping. They didn't charge me, 75 cents or whatever. Like, they charged me $5 and they considered it a package. And I'm guessing they did that because this wasn't able to slide through their machine at the USPS warehouse. And they considered it as a whole package, which is $5. So you don't want to do that for a 50-cent card. You know, you want to make sure that you have something thin enough yet sturdy enough to be inside of an envelope and get through that processing machine. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to these little shipping shields. Now, let's talk about the stamps though, because these forever stamps, I had the hardest time when I first started trying to figure out stamps. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to figure out stamps when I first started. Let me break it down to you guys, just so you guys can know, right? These forever stamps go up to 1 ounce. Also, a scale. You need your scale. Throw that envelope on here. Make sure it's under 1 ounce. If it's under 1 ounce or up to 1 ounce, you can use a simple forever stamp. These are, I believe, like 74 cents each or something like that. I buy these at my local Walgreens and I get a book of 20 for, I think it's 15 bucks. So that's 20 packages out. So if I have to send out an order of 10, I'll just use one forever stamp on one envelope, one forever stamp on the other envelope. That's only if the package weighs up to 1 ounce. If it's a little bit heavier than 1 ounce, then you have to get 2 ounce stamps. They don't sell 2 ounce stamps at my local Walgreens, so I get my 2 ounce stamps on eBay. That's a little hack because eBay also sells stamps like from certain sellers, and you can get stamps for a discount essentially. So check out eBay if you need stamps. People on there are selling stamps at a cheaper rate all the time. I don't know how they're getting them for so cheap. Hey, it's not my business. But they work, and I never had any problems with them. That's basically how I ship them out. And I believe TCGplayer, if you go above 50, they require you to have tracking. If you need tracking, then that's a whole different thing. I use Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship gives you discounted rates when you're shipping packages. So I use Pirate Ship if the order comes up to 50. Anything under 50, I don't use tracking. Sometimes, like rarely, if it's 40 bucks and I feel iffy or I just want to be very certain that that card's going to get to them, then I'll use tracking. But other than that, I take my chances. You don't have to be like me and take your chances, but I take my chances, and anything under 50 I ship out with a stamp, no tracking. It's worked for me. I've gotten great reviews. You can check me out on TCGplayer and look at my reviews. That's mainly what I do on TCG. Now with eBay, it's a little bit different. eBay, I use these if they're paying for shipping, right? So if they're going to be paying $4 and up for shipping, I use a bubble mailer. I don't care if it's a 50-cent card that I'm shipping out. I still use a bubble mailer because at the end of the day, they're paying for shipping. They've already paid for it. Why not ship it out with tracking, right? So it's going to come with tracking either way. You put it in one of these. On eBay, you print out your label, slap that bad boy on here, and you're good to go. It doesn't matter how cheap the card is. So that's kind of what I like about eBay if they're going to be paying for shipping. Now, if they're not paying for shipping on eBay, it's kind of like the same thing applies, but you can either ship it out with a stamp like you usually do on TCG, or you can use eBay's platform. eBay's platform, they have ship with tracking standard envelope for 74 cents or something like that. As long as it's under 1 ounce, it's 74 cents. So it's essentially the same exact thing, but you get the benefit of it including tracking. Now, from my experience, that tracking sucks and that tracking does not work. I do not know how to use that tracking for the life of me. If anybody knows how to use that tracking, please let me know, because I just can't figure out how to use standard envelope tracking whenever I use eBay. Also, another thing to note, when you're using standard envelope tracking with eBay, you're supposed to get paid out on eBay once the item gets delivered, right? But it never shows up as delivered with the tracking for some reason, so you still have to wait your 30 days if you're a new seller to get your payout for that card. That's only with the standard envelope. If you ship it out with tracking, if they pay for shipping $5, or if you decide to pay $5 for shipping, once it gets delivered and the tracking picks up on USPS side or UPS, whoever you're using, once it gets delivered 1 to 3 days after, you get your payout. So just keep that into consideration when you're going to be sending out with eBay standard envelope. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the things I use. Shipping shield, windowed envelope, standard envelope. masking tape, the little pull tabs. You know, you have your deck box to keep your cards, the cards that you're going to be selling. You're going to use perfect fit sleeve, and then these sleeves here. It's a little bit bigger than the perfect fit, so your card can slide in there. There's also another way of shipping. If you do not want to buy shipping shields, you can put your card in a top loader, right? Do exactly the same thing I said, you know, double sleeve it, put it in a top loader. I would secure the top loader with a little piece of masking tape over the top, or you can just put it in here, right? So after you put in the top loader, you put it in here. Now remember, these don't go in envelopes because they're just too rigid, and I've had problems with that, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're going to be shipping out with tracking on eBay, then, or if you're going to be shipping with tracking in a bubble mailer, use these, or top loader in there, close it, and basically send it like you're going to be sending it to a grading company or to PSA. You're going to put a rubber band around the top, and then you're going to put another rubber band around this side. The card ain't going nowhere. People love it. It's secure, it's safe, it's not coming out, right? Also, when you're going to be sending stuff out, I've gotten a lot of good reviews because I also include a little note. Just be nice. Send a note. Say, hey, thank you for your purchase. We really appreciate it. Hope you love your card. And add a little smiley face. These are $1. Pick these up from the dollar store. Add a little smiley face. Put a little sticker on there. It's nice. It shows that you actually appreciate that they bought from you and you're taking your time with the order. I've also made these little thank you cards. I printed these out myself. Just use your printer, print them out. It says, hey, thank you. Your purchase made our day. We hope your new cards make yours. And I also write on these. So I'll put thank you so-and-so, whoever bought the card. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Sarah. And so forth. I put that on there, and then I put it inside of the envelope as well. If you guys have any tips, I'll be more than happy to take any tips into consideration. That's my shipping setup, and I was able to reach a level 4 seller in 2 months with that exact setup right there. If you guys learned anything from this video, if you guys like this kind of content, please let me know down in the comments. Like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'll be back next time with another video. Thanks, everybody. Peace.